The barbell traditional American deadlift is a phrase that you may hear all over the place. There's deadlifts, there's Romanian deadlifts. Basically, there are deadlifts where you're picking them off the ground and there's a different activation there. And then there's RDLs where you're standing up and then you slowly hinge. So there's a lot more glute and hamstring isolation. Whereas when you're in that American deadlift, you're picking it up the ground, your back muscles have to activate before you even pick it up, and your core, and it's just got a lot going on. And when you see the heavy Olympic weightlifters doing these deadlifts, it's typically the American deadlift on the ground. Now, if you're brand new to barbells or doing any sort of American deadlift or anything like that, I highly recommend trying a sumo deadlift with a barbell first, because there's a little less range of motion and you can really get deep into your squat, and even though it's a hinge, and then focus on that core and back engagement before you start incorporating that American deadlift. The American deadlift is a great way to challenge yourself because you are lifting really heavy, and then yes, your glutes are going to be working. I really love the move. I think there's a lot of benefits to it, but it's really important that you're doing it correctly, making sure you have that upper back, lat, and core engagement before you start doing it, which is why I highly recommend doing stuff like sumos or even like getting some back activation before you do a deadlift. So I will show you the demo. I did a traditional from the ground with my palms facing forward. So with the American deadlift, you'll start with your feet about hip width, maybe even a little bit wider, not quite sumo. But if you want to practice with the sumo first, that's totally welcome. But you go here, toes facing forward, as close as you can to the bar. Chest is up, palms facing me for that traditional grip, but you could also do a mixed grip with one palm facing forward, one here, or you could switch, or you can go both palms facing forward. I'm not going to argue with anyone. There are so many different ways you can do the grip. Do what feels good for you. I prefer palms facing me. Sometimes I like palms facing forward. Sometimes I like the mixed grip. Do what feels good for you. I'm assuming if you're watching this, you're not quite competing or really focused on that. You just want to get stronger and get really good at the barbell. So do what feels good for your body. Okay. So I'm going to show you with an overhand grip. So imagine I have a lot of heavy weight here. Okay. I'm going to exaggerate. I have a lot of heavy weight. Slight bend in my knees. So a hinge, a deadlift is a hinge, but with a traditional, especially since you're picking up from the ground, you will have to bend your knees. So there is going to be a little quad engagement. You'll hinge, palms are facing your, or if you're doing an overhead grip, palms are facing your body, shoulders back. So notice I'm pretty low in my squat, right? Shoulders back. Now, before I pick it up, I'm making sure I have that core engagement, and then I stand up, pick it up from the ground. And then I come back down, shoulders back, come back up. So if you watched my sumo deadlift video with the barbell, you'll know that I actually say there's kind of like a two-step before you can pick up the barbell. You actually are here, shoulders back, engage, breathe, and then stand up. So first step is getting that core engagement, lat engagement, then stand up. So yes, I'm bending my knees, but my glutes and hamstrings are what's really driving me to stand up and bring my hips forward. So keeping that strong posture as you go here, and then stand up and then come back down. Okay, what about dropping the barbell? Have you seen people drop the barbell? Imagine if you're watching this, relatively new to the barbell. That's okay. You probably don't need to drop the barbell. People do that when it's like super heavy, especially if they're doing trap bar, but you could probably come down pretty fast. Make sure you still have your core engagement. You don't need to drop it, especially because a lot of gyms, like if you're just going to a traditional gym, big box gym, they probably won't allow you to drop it. But if you're at like a weightlifting gym or something, it might be allowed. Okay, I'm just giving you a heads up. So you might see people go woo and then drop it. Okay. Just a heads up, you might not be allowed to do that at most gyms unless you're at like a really nice weightlifting gym that really focuses on heavy Olympic weightlifting. So again, there's so many caveats. You're here, so many people tell you so many different things, but I'm here to guide you on the basics and want you to feel really confident with it. And if you haven't joined my BGTV community, I am here for every single one of my clients and helping them, guide them with their form. So if you want to send in a video if you're doing this and you want to know how to improve it, let me know. I got your back. And it's one of my favorite moves. So let me know how it goes.